All right, everyone, here it is, the first run of the day for NoReset at DreamHack Atlanta 2018. Momodora, Reverie under the Moonlight, 80% normal with LaurieDBunnykins on PC. Laurie, how you doing today?
I'm really nervous, but I'm really excited to show off this game. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
My bad.
It's all good. The joys of being live.
Yep.
It's all good.
But yeah,
all right, so go ahead.
All right. So I guess I'll give a brief introduction because I don't have a lot of time before the game actually begins the gameplay. Momodora Reverie Under the Moonlight is the fourth game in the Momodora series, although it is actually a prequel to the original trilogy. It's a side-scrolling game. There's a few linear parts, but there's also like a bit where it's a Metroidvania. We can go anywhere. And there's a lot of movement to it. And so I'm just going to get into that movement. I'm going to get started in 3, 2, 1, go. All right. So in the first 20 seconds, we have a cutscene here. We're going to be introduced to our protagonist, Kaho. Kaho is a priestess from a village located in the west, who their village is being kind of affected by a curse coming from the east. So the first thing we're going to do is head to the east. Immediately, you see me rolling. Rolling is the fastest thing we can do right now. And you also see me gaining height while rolling. That is a trick called a roll jump, where if I press the jump and roll buttons on the same frame, I can actually gain height while rolling. And it's just a good way to, you know, get over obstacles while still moving as quickly as possible. We do have our own double jump if we need it, though, to gain more height. And also we have melee and ranged attacks to deal with enemies or other obstacles, like the fact that I just hit a switch over a pit. Oh, my bad. But, all right, going through here, yeah, we're going to keep... I did not double jump there. So I'm going to have to go back to the beginning because I didn't hit that bell earlier. Those bells are save points. It can be kind of tricky with roll jumps, not only because, again, I have to hit both buttons on the same frame in order to do them, but I then have to double jump out of them. And there's a really weird delay double jumping out of a roll jump because of just, like, the kind of ending animation of a roll. And I'm not doing good on roll jumps today, so I'm going to try and chill on them a little bit. But yeah, okay, I'm going to hit this again. I'm going to hit this time. I usually don't hit that, and I'm usually fine without it, but that roll jump screen just was being rude to me, and I don't want to deal with it again. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to go down here quickly and collect the chest. I think I actually got a golden money, which is really funny, but I need 80 money by the end of this first area, the Grove, in order to buy an item from a vendor. So I'm going to be collecting 3 chests throughout the area, and that was the first of them. Just a simple jump attack can get rid of any chest you need, or can open any chest you need instantly. So do fully charged arrows. That's the thing, you can charge your arrows a little bit, but I don't do it too often. Okay, I want to hit that. Later in the run, there will be more charges as different abilities will change how effective arrows are. But for now, a lot of the time, if I even use arrows, I mean, actually, I'll be charging them soon, but that's besides the point. Another chest down here. This one has 40 money in it, so it's a really good one to grab. And I'm at 64, so I'm great on money because the third chest only has 20. I made this platform cycle, which is nice. These jumping imps can be pretty random in where they move, so sometimes... Okay, there we go. Sometimes they can prevent you from making that platform on the quickest cycle. And that was something that was getting me a lot in my practice, like the weekend before. But, all right. Yeah, no, I'm okay. So coming up on the first boss here, we're going to have the arthropod demon. I think it's a demon. Yeah, arthropod demon, Adea. So the strategy for this fight is if we stay close to Adea, there are certain attacks she won't do, and then all the ones that she will do when we're close to her are ones that we can usually dodge just by ducking, like that. Whenever she does an attack where her tail is exposed, I'm going to want to hit it, because with fully charged arrows, it will do a lot of damage compared to just the jump slashing that you see me doing right now. I'm not getting a lot of high attacks, though. I was getting a lot of low attacks, so it was not very good, because when you do low attacks, you can't hit the bulb, or the tail, or whatever. However, we can grab that tail. Adea's Pearl is an item that we actually get for beating Adea without taking any damage. Every boss has an item like that, and I need almost all of them. So that's what really gives the speed game a lot of challenge, is I'm going to need to do a lot of damageless bosses. Here, I'm going to buy an item from the vendor, the Crystal Seed. I mentioned this item earlier, and I'm going to equip both my items. The Crystal Seed is an active item, meaning I have to like consume it, and it will temporarily give me a damage increase. And then the Adea's Pearl is a passive item, so it's used automatically, and it adds poison effects to my arrows. I somehow did not die there after missing the roll jump. Again, I'm not doing very good on roll jumps right now, so I should probably tone them down a bit, but muscle memory in this game is kind of big where the movement's not too much. Speaking of muscle memory, something I made sure I practiced a lot was going out to get this spell. You usually don't see people go for this safety in the run, but I'm doing it for the sake of marathon, and I don't want to do that beginning extra section of the city again, because this upcoming boss fight against Mocha is awful. I just mentioned the imps earlier that jump around randomly. Mocha basically does that, except Mocha doesn't care about your proximity. So no matter where you are in comparison to Mocha, unlike Adea, Mocha will just do whatever the heck. So you kind of have to be really careful, because sometimes you'll get attacks that it's really bad to be close to Mocha. But eventually, the floor will break and we'll be introduced to Lubella. I'm going to use a secret item here. If I do up, up, down, down, left, right on my keyboard, I get to summon this fairy who shoots a lot of lasers. Lubella is kind of luck-based. If she does this dive attack that you see her doing right now, it wastes 12 seconds. And I can't do much about it.
In this game, I love how during the boss fights, you're really trying to hit the heart of the problem.
I get it. Yeah, so we got double dive, which is basically the worst thing you can get in this fight. And yeah, every time she reappears, she can reappear in one of 3 places, left, center, or right. There we go, that's the fight though. I got that first try, which I'm really happy about, because not only is this one of the hardest, because you have to do both Mocha and Lubella damageless, but the Bachman patch, the item we get for beating Lubella without taking damage, is, I'm gonna go and say it's the most important item in the run. It will help us with a lot of damage and just a lot of everything, really. So now the game's gonna split up a bit. We'll be able to go into areas in any order we want. Kind of. There are a few restrictions based on needing certain items to get into places, but for the most part, it's wherever you want to go. So the first area I'm going to choose to go is going to be the subterranean grave, which is right down here. We're going to have a cutscene with Aerie. This is actually the perfect time.
All right, so we have a $20 donation by Quatropus, who says, been a hype marathon and have enjoyed every bit of it. Let's go. Let's get this last incentive. So that puts the 3-heart challenge at $60 out of $250. Keep them coming.
Yep. That's going to be really exciting. 3 hearts in that game is not easy. But heading into the subterranean grave that I mentioned, this is kind of a water level. I'm going to take this safer than you might see me do it on my own time, because as you've already noticed, I've been having trouble with roll jumps, and this area does a lot of those. So might look a little slow. Speaking of slow, this is kind of our water level. Water isn't that bad in this game because you don't have an air meter, so you can stay down as long as you want. And you don't have like a dumb swim mechanic. You literally can just jump infinitely. So it's not a bad mechanic. The only bad thing is, well, you're in water, you're a bit more sluggish than usual. And these bats that you see flying on the screen, they can appear randomly at any point vertically. I think they have a set like horizontal position, but like vertically, anywhere on the screen is fair game for a bat to spawn. And although damage isn't the worst thing in this game, in insane difficulty where you have 1 HP, yeah, you can imagine insane runners love those things that can come out of they're being mean though. But yeah, now we're just kind of on our way to the next boss fight. Gonna hit that enemy to stun it. Gonna switch items too. And then I'm gonna stun this enemy and then shoot an arrow below it. so I can hit a switch that's over there. You might see the kind of remains of the poison cloud. That's just to open up the trapdoor to get into the area I'm in right now. And then I want to shoot this enemy right here and enter this boss fight. That enemy can enter the boss fight, but if I shoot the poison arrow, it'll die right there. And we can enter the boss fight against Frida. So Frida, not actually that bad. We're gonna use our items. That squares was the Bachman patch, by the way. We're mainly just gonna use our items and then stay away. Again, arrows are really good. This wolf attack isn't a bad one to dodge. Again, as you see, I'm not dealing with it poorly, but it's kind of annoying because you have to waste some arrows actually getting rid of the wolves. So they're small time wasters. But again, there are much things I'd rather see wolves than many things in this fight, especially when all Frida does is stand still and use wolves. I guess that works. So yeah, for dealing with Frida, we're going to get the Sparse Thread, which is another really good item for damage. Not as much practical use as the Bachman patch, but again, just damage is great. And we're gonna have to deal with more spikes, so I'll take that, despite being at full health. I'm usually not at full health in this part, because these enemies right here can do a lot of damage if you don't deal with them right. What I'm gonna do here is gonna go behind this guy and knock him that way, so that he will throw a bomb here, blow up this shortcut for me. That shortcut is pretty useful in getting back to this area of the grave early. Okay, I'm getting better with my roll jumps now, which is good. And so I took a little detour at some point that you might have noticed that I failed to mention because I was busy talking about the swimming. And from it, I got an item called the Garden Key, which is a key item. It's a key. But it's a key item that lets us have access to this door. And it gets us into the White Leaf Memorial Park, which is where the next place we want to go is. So yeah, this area, pretty short. We're at a point where the subterranean grave was pretty linear, but the next few areas we're going to be able to go a lot of places. So it's going to take less time between boss now because we're just going to go like the shortest path possible. For this boss, upcoming boss, I'm going to do a little strategy. I'm going to use the seed and then hit the save point to regenerate the seed. And hey, look who it is again. That's okay. This is actually the one boss fight in the game that we don't need the damage list item from, so hey. Okay, where's my seed? Thank you. I poisoned myself. All right, cool. That's actually a really scary boss, because with the projectiles coming all over the place at the beginning of the fight that you fire, you sometimes just can't see what you're doing. But I managed to get it first try, which is good. This is an intended death. It's a cutscene death. It's scripted. Because we wake up here cursed as a cat. Because I guess that's what this game wanted me to be. Being a cat is actually great. When you're a cat, you get to move much faster. You're a more agile form than a human. However, your roll actually has like a lot of ending lag on the animation, like even compared to the normal roll, to the point where it would be slower to roll as a cat. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to have to roll jump and then cancel the roll jump with a melee attack in order to move as quickly as possible as a cat. That item I got when I exited that area, the cat sphere, will let me switch between cat and human basically whenever I want. However, cat can't climb ladders, which is why I took a while. Cat doesn't have a melee attack, or a range attack as well, does have a melee attack. And is shorter, can't climb ladders, and has a sleeping animation when you're idle, so it's better. But in all seriousness, no, this roll jump method that I'm using right now is just a faster movement method than normal rolling, so you're gonna see a lot of cat. And I guess I should mention, I'm playing on a beta version of the game. I'm playing on 1.05B instead of the most current 1.06, because on 1.05B, a lot of cutscenes will actually force transform you back into a human, like that one, once you start them. But on 105B, okay, I think I messed this up. 106, you get force transformed a lot. 105, you don't. And I'm not jumping a lot, but I want to hit this bell. I don't actually need to hit it, but I'm going to do that to be safe. I want to enter the Forlorn Monastery and then immediately leave. And we're gonna head back a bit, because you might notice I never got a crest fragment after beating Lubella 2. I was just immediately cursed into a cat as soon as the fight ended. So I need to go get that right now. It's a pretty important item. I need all 4 of them to get into the end of the game. Here's a mini boss. I'm sorry, what did I just say there was? Yeah, that guy goes down really easily. And then I'm not gonna change back to human or to cat quite yet, because I do need to climb a ladder. But now I'm going as cat. Please. All right. I already hit that button earlier when I took the safety save. Can I do that? Yeah, Ari's back here, by the way. We still don't need to talk to her. She's actually not very important in the story. There's a side thing involving her, but I don't know the most of it. So yeah, we're back in the Grove here. Because I need to get that second crest fragment. It's going to be right down here. And so yeah, there's this little secret area behind the Grove. Or under, I guess. And from this, I'm going to get on this platform, then jump up here. All right, and our second crest fragment of 4. This one gives us an interesting ability. I didn't mention it with the first crest fragment, but we get abilities from both of these guys, or from every crest fragment. The first one gave me a faster arrow charge speed, and the second one gave me a warp ability at any bell in the game, which is why I wanted to go to this screen before getting this crest fragment, so I could just warp right to the monastery and lead us to our third area of the game, which is going to be the Cinder Chambers. Cinder Chambers isn't that bad of an area. It's pretty tricky because there are a lot of enemies and traps that can deal some damage. However, just like White Leaf, it's going to be really short because it's a really like kind of compact area. And I know the path to the boss, so I'm going to take it. This boss, though, speaking of which, is actually probably the hardest boss of the mid-game, in my opinion. It's going to be kind of risky, and there's not too much to do compared to just normal strats to make it much safer. So we're going to meet Kath here. Kath was a character we could talk to earlier, but she's here in this fight, so it's a good time to introduce her, as well as the Arsonist. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to use my patches, set up the fairy, and then wait for a warp, use my threads, seed, and then I'm going to try and keep a decent distance away from her while trying to use my level 1 charges. Once I got that arrow charge speed upgrade, level 1 charges are just better damage per second. I don't want her to get too close because then she does stuff like this, but actually if I get too far away, she'll teleport again, and I don't like her teleporting because it's scary. All right, that was a good fight. Right here's good.
Awesome, thank you. All right, well, to cap off that boss fight, we have a $20 donation by the Legend of Zahir, and they say, "You're doing great, Laurie. Keep it up."
Thank you.
And it's going towards the Legend of Zelda 3 Hearts Challenge, and Legend of Zahir is the one who's actually going to close the marathon today.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that run, personally. So if you guys want to watch another run today, I recommend that. So we got an item called the Pocket Incensory from the Arsonist. And this crest fragment gives us like a dash, which is really good. The Pocket Incensory will give fire element kind of to our attacks. And it increases the damage by a lot. I don't know how to describe how just good it is for damage at this point. It's just kind of the location of Cinder Chambers is not very good to get it that early in the run. But here, yeah, you might have seen the fire. So here we have to talk to this character deck key. This room has a bit of luck in it, actually. The colors of the cats and what they're doing, and if they meow, is all random. There's no bad pattern for this. It's always the best pattern with cat RNG. But yeah, we have the monastery key, so we can warp back to the beginning of the Forlorn Monastery. And go up this elevator. Elevators, you can't go off of them until they're fully done moving. So yeah, I can use the monastery key right here. So with the Pocket Incensory and 2 really good damaging items, as you might see coming up, bosses are gonna get a little bit easier. This is Fennel. Okay, that was Fennel. So yeah, with the combination of items we start getting throughout the run from beating bosses, we can do kind of crazy looking kills like that. Fennel is actually like a favorite boss of a lot of people, and if you don't have the items like that, is a lot of fun. It's kind of like a duel type situation between you and Fennel, but with items we can just kind of do that quick kill. And that is actually our last crest fragment, so we can go to this door. Funny thing, by dashing into this door, we skip an animation where we get bounced backwards to a certain point of the stairwell. Saves a little bit of time on that animation. And then we get into kind of the beginning of the end of this game. We have the Royal Pinacotheca, which is a great word. I love that word. I hate this place, though. It's one of the most unique portions of the run. You have a lot of combinations between switching forms. So we're going to see a decent amount of human, which we might not have seen in a while. But we're also going to see a lot of cat movement, because you always want to see as much cat movement as possible when you're running this game. This is a scary area also because we've not collected any health upgrades. So a lot of these enemies can do severe blows to our HP in just one hit. As you see, that skeleton could 3-hit me, not even with its sword, just with contact damage. And the swords are even worse. But I need to go up here to get an item. There's the sealed wind up here, which is... I'm not going to be using it for a little bit, but it is going to be required later. Kinda. It's technically not required to beat the game, but it's required to do the run. I'll explain it when I get there. But we're coming up on the next boss fight, which is one that has been just absolutely murdering me during practice, so let's hope it goes well. We're gonna go over here and open this door. All right, so I'm gonna just get past this guy. And what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to use a patch before entering this cutscene so that as soon as the fight starts, I can just start hitting Lupiar a ton. Lupiar just triple rolled on me, which is like the worst thing in the world because now I have to actually do this fight. And I hate doing fights, but we're good. We have a second phase though, so it's not done yet. We have Magnolia, who isn't very hard. You know, I just gotta be careful not to let myself take damage. And first try, all right. That is the hardest part of this run, really, for me. And we get the heavy arrows for that. The heavy arrows are great. They're going to up our damage output from arrows significantly, which is awesome for the final boss. Speaking of the final boss, we're heading into the final area of the game, Karst Castle, where the queen is. It's a very damaging area. Once again, like the Pinacotheca, there's a lot of enemies that do a lot of damage, among with a lot of traps and a lot of spikes. I don't think it's quite as bad, if only because the layout is actually a little bit nicer than the Pinacotheca. And we get to do a skip here, actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Bachman patch around here. And I'm going to hit a lever off screen. That lever will open up that pathway and let me skip the area I'm supposed to go around to hit that lever the normal way. So going to save a little bit of time when I go back there. But actually, I'm going to use that excuse to skip the animation of the wall going away to backtrack a little bit. And so going to get about here. I don't want to be a cat. I'm going to use the sealed wind right here. And with opening this, I'll be able to bathe my leaf, which is my melee weapon, in this tea and get the fresh spring leaf. So the fresh spring leaf is interesting because it's not only a melee attack upgrade, but your normal maple leaf wouldn't be able to lift the curse that's actually on this city and therefore affecting your village. However, this spring leaf is. So the spring leaf is required to get this game's good ending. Now, the leaderboards for this game won't actually accept your run if you get the bad ending in which you die after phase 2 of the final boss. So that is why I got the sealed wind, and it's required not to get to the final boss or fight the final boss, but to get a run accepted on the leaderboard. But with that done, I'm now going to just keep going through the castle. There's not too much more to it. There is a mini boss that I'll talk about when I get there, and I'm almost there. After this screen actually is going to be something. this upcoming screen right here. This is the last save point in the game before the one right before the final boss. So at this point, anything from now in between the end of the game, I have to do in one go, which includes roll jumping. Thank you. All right, I gotta get some new items in here. All right, there we go. So this is the Tainted Missive that I got during Fennel. We don't like to use it in a lot of boss fights because it automatically takes away a quarter of our HP, of our max HP even. But it's useful in that it doubles our attack for as long as you see the red lines around me. Using that and combined with sparse threads, I can one cycle that little angel mini boss that you might have seen. I don't know if you saw it. It was pretty fast. And we can head over to this kind of Doom elevator. This is probably your last chance for a donation if you have one. All right, well, we're almost at the end of the elevator. I have like one, oh, I do have a chance to die. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to go back to before that angel mini boss you saw. So you'll see it again. Although I don't think the save point has the items equipped. It doesn't. Cool, good for me. Yeah, so we're gonna do this again. It's not that hard, so I'm not that worried. It just can be annoying. Nope. I can always tell who the real angel is because they have like, they're lower on height, so I know it's this one. But you can tell by like a little effect on their projectiles when they fire projectiles. But again, with the little height thing, you can usually tell who's who before the projectiles ever get fired. I'm not doing good on health again, so I'm gonna take this safe. And I'm gonna probably do a safety thing on the elevator this time. Okay, let's not die. Yeah, I'm gonna bait that guy out to kind of change the timings a little bit. Yeah, dodging these two at the same time can be really hard. All right, yeah, I'm gonna take this as safe as I can. I don't want to jump on the elevator again because then I would have to go back down it. All right, cool, we're good. We're at the final boss now. All right, so the final boss coming up, the Queen. I'm gonna get my missives ready. In fact, I can get this ready now. So the Queen, the first thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna use my missive and then I'm gonna charge a arrow. Do that. So yeah, we're getting a lot of damage on the health bar, you can see, because of the heavy arrows. All right, I'm gonna count to 4 here. 1, 2. All right, and I'm gonna get as many hits as I can here before these projectiles start to hit me. I didn't get a lot here, but what I can kind of do is I use the wrong item, which is amazing. Good job, me. But I can do melee attacks like this to try and knock her out before that. So I'm going to switch out for the Crystal Seed, which is not going to do as much damage as I want to on the final boss and may actually make me mess up the final boss a little bit, including death. I'm not excited. Time's going to be if I manage to kill this boss. I'm going to use the seed once the screen flashes to white. And then at a certain timing, I'm going to use the patches and the fairy, and then do melee combos while starting to charge up my arrows. Time. All right, yeah. Again, I accidentally used my missive in phase 2. You usually want to save it for that, so I was kind of worried about how that phase would go. I tried to get some extra damage in down there, but I got it. So yeah, because of the Spring Leaf, we're going to see the good ending here, where the curse is actually going to be lifted. 27 is really good, especially with how the beginning of the run went. I was really worried that it would go horribly, but 27 is actually a time I'm really happy with for a marathon run. I guess some shout-outs I guess I can give while I have time. I'd like to shout out the community for this game. I first heard of this game when they hosted a tournament, and I kind of volunteered to help with stuff for the tournament. And they were so nice that they not only convinced me to like buy the game and play it, but once I did, they were super helpful in letting me get into the run for it. So I want to give a shout out to everybody there for making this just such an easy game to get into. I'd like to give a shout out to obviously everybody like in my own community that came out to watch this, because this was something I was really nervous about doing, but it went really well for me. So I'd like to shout out everybody who supported me in that. I'd like to give a huge shout outs to NoReset for even giving me the opportunity to run this game at this event. I had a lot of fun, and I'm excited to watch the rest of the runs. And with that, I'm done. I'm out of things to say. So thank you, everybody, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the event.
Well, thank you, Laurie, for an amazing run, an amazing game. Fun fact, this was actually featured in one of our previous marathons in 2016, the Metroidvania-thon. So we were pretty excited to have it again.
Yeah.
It's always a great showing. And once again, super good run, super entertaining with great commentary. So let's hear it for Laurie, everyone. All right. So we're going to go to a quick setup in a couple of seconds. And next up is the Mummy Demastered. We had to switch the schedule around just a little bit. Clusterstruck was supposed to be up next, but it will be after the Mummy Demastered. 80% on PC with Quatropus. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.